Hi, thanks for joining me in the March 2013 technique class. We're using the So Very Grateful stamp set and we are creating 3 cards, and for this video I'm focusing on this card. So what you will need is your card pack that has been sent to you, which looks like this. You've got when you get your packs, the card you need should be in the right place. So these 4 pieces are for the front of the card, and then inside the card you should have another piece which is for the inside. If you have a look at the inside of my card I've already made, you will see that we've got two of the corners are rounded. I didn't round all the corners, but I'll leave that up to you. And what I did do is I stamped the flower in the corner of the card in Midnight Muse ink, just to echo the front, and I just think it ties it all up, which looks really nice. So you've got 3 pieces of card which are cut the same size, and then you have one that has scrap written on it. The piece that has scrap written on it is for stamping the 2 sentiments and cutting around them, so you should have plenty to do both of those on your bit of card. Okay, so quite simply, this is a very simple card. It needed to be a bit quicker because the pop-up card took a little bit longer. What you need to do is you'll need to get your 3 pieces of card, and you'll need a stamp cleaner. It's really important you're going to use a stamp cleaner because you're going to use the same stamp in 3 different colours of ink. So you're just very simply going to ink up your stamp, and then off to one side you're going to stamp it in the Summer Starfruit colour ink. And I'm going to clean it, dry it, and then I'm going to stamp it on my grid paper to make sure that it is clean. Always do that before you restamp because it's too late if it isn't clean. Then I'm going to do a Midnight Muse, and I'm going to do the same. Always lay your ink pads flat for inking up. If you hold them in your hand you can't always guarantee a good coverage. And I'm going to do the same in the Midnight Muse. And I'm also going to get my inner piece. Turn that over because I've got a little spot on it, and I'm going to stamp in the inner corner of the inner piece. Clean my stamp, dry my stamp, check my stamp, and now I'm going to use the strawberry slush, and I'm going to now I've stamped both of these over to the left hand side of the strips, so this time I'm going to stamp over on the right hand side. So I'm going to move both of these out of the way. I'm going to ink up my stamp, and I'm just going to simply stamp on the other side. Now if this doesn't work for you, you can easily just turn it over, turn them round, whatever you wish. If you want them all on the same side, that would work too. Just no need to overthink this. This is a really simple card. Then what you're going to do is when you go to actually adhere your pieces of card to the front of the card, if you want to corner round, now would be a good time to corner round. I'm using a corner chomper because it gives a nice deep curve, a much deeper curve than the Stampin' Up corner rounder. So I prefer that look, so that's why I used this. So I'm going to corner around the top corner, and now I'm going to corner around the bottom corner like that, and then that one's going to stay as it is. And I'm going to corner around the inner corners like that, and I need to stamp the sentiments on the scrap. There is a framelit die that cuts around this sentiment, but for me it's just as easy to use scissors to cut your trimmer to cut 2 straight ends, and I'll show you how we get the little flag on the end. Okay, so you're going to use your glue. I'm just trying to get my hands on my glue. I can't find it, so I'm going to use my glue stick. It's not a Stampin' Up one, but I just had some left over. This is what I give the kids to use at school normally, but I'm going to use it today myself. So it should be cut so you've got a nice even gap, the side and the top. Get a nice even gap going, The brilliant thing about the glue sticks is they're forgiving, so you can move them. Then I would stick the bottom blue one, because you don't want to stick the middle one and then find you've got too big a space. Okay, and you're going to do exactly the same, an even gap top and bottom. Even gap either side. And then that means this one should be able to fit in the middle here. Now you can see we've got quite big gaps, but what I've done is I closed that gap to leave a bigger gap, and then I tied some linen thread for interest around that. So if you want the same look as my card, you'll want to do the same and leave a bigger gap than you have done. So these two can snuggle up together, and then we've got a bigger gap going on here. Now I'm going to use my Stampin' Jig, so excuse me while I find it. I've just unpacking all my tools from the class this morning. I'm just trying to get my hands on everything. Here we go. So I'm going to use my Stampin' Jig for getting the thank you sentiment on the bottom of the card. Okay, so I have a video on my blog to show you in my YouTube tutorials to show you how to use the Stampin' Jig. So I'm not going to show you how to use it. I'm going to show you how quick and easy it is to use it. And I'm going to find a nice place for my thank you. Bearing in mind, I'm going to also be sticking another sentiment on this section as well. So I just don't want to overcrowd that white piece too much. So I have left a bigger gap. I haven't put it in the centre, I've just left a bigger gap. So there's my thank you. And now I'm going to get my linen thread, and I should have given you enough in your kit to be able to do the same. So if I just start here and have a nice dangly bit and go round. Go round as many times as you want or as you've got a linen thread for. So I'm just going to go round twice. Sorry, as Pip was fast asleep in the sun and then she's heard a car door. So I'm going to go here and I'm just going to tie a little bow. She'll pipe down in a minute and the car door starts banging. Okay. I'm just going to, I'm going to tighten that up. It wasn't very tight. Just because I'm trying to lean into the camera to give you a good visual. I'm a bit cat-handed. Don't like that either. I am a perfectionist, so I want to get it right. That's why I always give you more linen thread than you need, because there's nothing worse than having ends that are too short. Okay, so there's your linen thread, and now you're going to get your scrap piece of card. You're going to get the Midnight Muse and the You're So Very Giving sentiment. Ink it up, stamp it on your bit of card. It's not dark enough, so I'm going to ink it up even more. I actually should be able to fit 3 on here, that's better. And then I'm so very grateful in the more mustard. Okay, I'll just close these ink pads up before I ruin the cards. Then what you're going to do is grab your trimmer. Now, I can reach my trimmer. There we go. I just wanted to show you how to do this to get the little flag on the end. So I'm going to line up, I'm going to go for this middle blue flag here. I'm just going to line up the inking with the edge of this inside bit of the track of the trimmer. And what that means is that when I run my cutting blade, I've got a nice white edge, and I'm going to do exactly the same on the other side. So I'm just going to line it up. Try and get it as straight as possible. Don't feel like doing that because I didn't. Don't know why, but that didn't cut very well. Oh well. I've got a cut line, I just didn't cut very well. I don't know why. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just trim off, and using the stamped image as a guide, actually, I'm just going to cut in and cut the little triangles sections out. So it's pretty simple without the dies of how you're going to get that. And then I raise that up on dimensionals. So I got a sheet of dimensionals. It's great to use the edge trimmings on the dimensionals to stick these little bits down. So for example, I would trim off a little edge piece here, stick that on the back, peel off the backing and pop it on the front of the card. Now you've got to do exactly the same with that "and I'm so very grateful," and stick that on the front of the card, just here, and then your card, once you've stuck this inside, is complete. So that's one of the cards. Thank you.